chosen one. Before anything else, I need you to understand this clearly. Wealth is not always about money. It is about purpose. It is about legacy. And it is about who God has chosen to trust with overflow. Some people are chosen to survive, but others are chosen to transform entire bloodlines. If you are listening to this right now, this message did not reach you by accident. You were not scrolling randomly. You were not just curious. Your spirit was already prepared for this moment. Because when God sets His eyes on someone, He does not just plan to bless them. He plans to use them as a vessel, a channel through which blessings flow to everyone connected to them. And that is why your life has never felt ordinary. From a young age, you may have sensed it. A quiet knowing deep inside that your journey would be different, that you were not meant to live a small life, even if you were born into small circumstances. You may come from a family where money was always tight, where struggle was normal, where survival was praised more than growth. Yet something inside you always resisted that narrative. You watched generations before. You work hard, sacrifice endlessly, and still remain stuck. You saw dreams postponed, potential buried, talents never fully expressed, and without anyone explaining it to you, you knew, this cycle ends with me. That thought may have scared you. It may have overwhelmed you, but it never left you, because you were not chosen randomly. You were chosen strategically. God does not assign generational missions to weak spirits. He assigns them to those strong enough to carry the weight. And make no mistake, you have always carried weight. Even when you were young, responsibility found you early. You felt pressure to succeed when others around you did not. You felt guilt at the thought of settling for less, because deep down you knew too many people depended on your rise. That is not coincidence, that is calling. You are not here to simply be rich. You are here to rewrite your family's future, to break agreements with poverty, to cancel limitations that were passed down unconsciously, to show future generations what is possible when faith meets discipline. That is why your journey has been heavier than most. While others could afford to drift through life, you felt urgency. While others were content with just enough, you felt restless. While others accepted struggle. As fate, something in you refused to agree. That resistance was not rebellion. It was alignment. Because you were never meant to blend in with the patterns of your lineage. You were meant to interrupt them. And that is why your life has felt like a battlefield at times. You have faced tests that seemed unfair. Moments when it felt like you were carrying burdens that didn't belong to you. Times when you questioned why the pressure was so intense, why the expectations were so high. But listen carefully. Generational assignments come with generational resistance. The moment you were marked to elevate, resistance rose to meet you. Not to stop you, but to prepare you. Because the kind of wealth you are meant to carry cannot rest on a weak foundation. You are not meant to be the richest in your family just for comfort. You are meant to be the strongest pillar, the stabilizer, the one who changes what normal looks like. Your success is not selfish, it is structural. When you rise, the ceiling above, your family lifts. when you break through doors, unlock for those who come after you. When you win, you do not win alone. And this is why your spirit feels the way it does. You feel responsible, even when no one asks you to be. You feel driven, even when you are tired. You feel called, even when you want to rest. That is because your life is not just about personal fulfillment. It is about assignment, fulfillment. God did not choose you to escape struggle. He chose you to end it. He did not choose you to hoard wealth. He chose you to circulate it. He did not choose you to live comfortably while others remain stuck. He chose you to become the example that proves transformation is possible. And that is why wealth keeps calling you, not as temptation but as responsibility, not as ego but as obedience. If this message is resonating deeply, I want you to pause for a moment. Take a breath and acknowledge what your spirit already knows. You were not chosen by chance. You were chosen by design. If you feel this confirmation right now, type 111 in the comments as a sign of alignment. That number represents awakening, breakthrough, and divine confirmation. And make sure you subscribe to this channel, because what you are stepping into requires wisdom, clarity, and guidance. In the next part, we will uncover why your mindset about money is radically different from your family, and why that difference is the first undeniable sign that you were chosen to build generational wealth. Stay with me. Your story is just beginning. Chosen one. There is a reason your relationship with money has never been the same as the people around you. While others in your family may see money as something scarce, stressful, or even dangerous, you see it differently. And this difference is not something you learned in school. It was not taught at the dinner table. It was not passed down through tradition. It was placed inside you. From an early age, you noticed it. When money came up in conversations, the energy shifted. Fear replaced hope. Limitations replaced vision. You heard phrases like, "Money doesn't grow on trees. We're just not meant to be rich. People like us don't get ahead." But something inside you quietly rejected those words. Not with arrogance, not with rebellion, but with awareness. Because while others saw money as a source of anxiety, you sensed it could be a tool, a resource, a multiplier. Where others saw money as something that controls people, you saw it as something that could be directed. You don't worship money. You don't fear it either. You understand that money is neutral. It reveals character, not creates it. It amplifies intention, not purpose. This understanding alone separates you from the majority. Most people are programmed to survive. You were wired to build. You think about money in terms of flow, not possession. In terms of growth, not storage. In terms of impact, not image. You don't dream about money just to spend it. You dream about what money can create. Businesses that provide opportunities, assets that appreciate instead of decay, structures that support your family long after you're gone. You think about legacy while others think about the next paycheck. And because of this, you may have felt misunderstood. Your ideas sounded unrealistic to people who were trained to think small. Your questions sounded threatening to those who were comfortable with limitation. Your vision felt uncomfortable in rooms built for survival. But hear this clearly. Thinking differently does not mean thinking wrongly. It means thinking ahead. God does not entrust generational wealth to minds that are stuck in fear. He entrusts it to minds that can steward, multiply, and protect. And that is why your perspective feels foreign in your own family. You don't see money as the goal. You see it as the fuel. Fuel for freedom. Fuel for choice. Fuel for the ability to say yes where others are forced to say no. You want wealth not to escape responsibility, but to fulfill it. To take pressure off future generations. To eliminate survival thinking from your bloodline. To create stability where chaos once lived. This is not greed. This is assignment awareness. Many people are afraid of wealth because they associate it with corruption. But you understand that wealth in the wrong hands is dangerous, and wealth in the right hands is transformative. And deep down, you know which hands you are meant to be. That is why you think about investments while others think about expenses. That is why you think about ownership while others think about wages. That is why you think about systems while others think about moments. Your mind naturally looks for leverage, sustainability, and expansion. And even if you haven't fully stepped into wealth yet, your thinking already lives there. This is important because wealth always arrives in the mind before it manifests in reality. Your mindset is the blueprint. Your circumstances are just catching up. This is also why you feel uncomfortable with limitation. When someone tells you to just be grateful for what you have, as an excuse to stop growing something inside, you resist. Not because you are ungrateful, but because gratitude and growth are not enemies. You understand that honoring where you are does not mean denying where you are going. And that understanding is rare. You see money as a servant, not a master, as a seed, not a trophy, as a responsibility, not a reward. That is why you are trusted with bigger vision. God does not give generational ideas to people who only think about themselves. He gives them to those who think about impact beyond their lifetime. And this is why your mind has always felt set apart. You were never meant to think like the rest of your family, because if you thought the same, you would arrive at the same destination. Your difference is the doorway. Your mindset is not accidental. It is evidence. Evidence that you were chosen to see beyond limitation, to break agreements with lack, to introduce abundance as a new normal. If this part of the message feels like it is describing, you pause for a moment. Let it settle. And if this truth resonates with your spirit, type 111 in the comments again as confirmation. In the next part, we will go even deeper. We will uncover why you carry an unexplainable ambition, why you cannot settle for average, and why that fire inside you refuses to go out. Stay with me. This is where everything starts to make sense. Chosen one. There is a fire inside you that refuses to be extinguished. You may have tried to ignore it. You may have tried to quiet it. You may have even convinced yourself, at times, to just be normal. But no matter what you do, that voice always returns. A voice that whispers, "I was made for more." Not more attention. Not more validation, but more impact. This fire is the reason your soul has never been comfortable with average. It's why routine suffocates you. It's why comfort feels like a cage instead of a reward. You can rest, but you can't remain still. You can pause, but you can't give up. You can fall, but you can't stay down. And the people around you may not understand this. They may look at your life and say, "You're doing fine. You should be grateful. Why can't you just be content?" But contentment has never been the issue. Your spirit isn't dissatisfied because you're ungrateful. It's dissatisfied because you're misaligned. You weren't created to simply exist. You were created to build, expand, and elevate. And that inner tension you feel is not a flaw, it's a signal. Most people are motivated by necessity. You are motivated by calling. That's why even after setbacks, failures, and disappointments, something inside you keeps pulling you forward. Even when logic says, "Give up," your spirit says, "This is not the end." You've likely been knocked down more times than you can count. Moments where it felt like the dream was slipping away. Times when doubt crept in and whispered that maybe you were wrong about yourself. But notice this, even in your lowest moments, you never fully surrendered the vision. You may have questioned the timing. You may have questioned the path. But you never stopped believing that more was possible. That belief did not come from motivation videos. It didn't come from your environment. And it certainly didn't come from your family's expectations. It came from God. Because ambition like yours is not manufactured, it is implanted. God plants ambition in chosen ones as a compass. A constant internal pull toward destiny, even when the road is unclear. That's why your dreams are larger than your surroundings. You could be in a small room, a small town, or a small situation, but your mind travels far beyond it. You see yourself building things no one around you has ever built. You imagine yourself living a life your family never experienced. You picture freedom, abundance, and influence long before they show up physically. And sometimes that imagination makes you feel lonely, because dreaming big in a small environment is isolating. People may call you unrealistic. They may say you're chasing fantasies. They may accuse you of wanting too much. But here's the truth. If your dreams matched your environment, you wouldn't need faith. God gives big visions to pull you out of small places, and that fire inside you exists to make sure you don't settle where you don't belong. You've probably noticed how uncomfortable you feel when you're stagnant, when nothing is changing, when growth stops. That discomfort is intentional. God did not design you to remain in places that can't support your expansion. So, when you feel restless, it's not because something is wrong with you. It's because something is right. You are being stretched. You are being called forward. And every time you try to shrink yourself to fit into a smaller life, your spirit resists. That resistance is protection, because settling would disconnect you from your assignment. This is also why you are drawn to challenges. While others avoid risk, you feel compelled toward it. Not recklessly, but instinctively. You understand, even if subconsciously, that growth lives on the other side of discomfort. That success requires pressure. That elevation requires resistance. So when life tests you, you don't break the way others do. You adapt, you recalibrate, you come back stronger. And this confuses people. They wonder why you keep getting back up, why you won't accept defeat, why you refuse to lower your standards. But what they don't see is that your ambition is not driven by ego. It's driven by obedience. You are responding to something bigger than you. There is a future version of you calling you forward, a version that lives in abundance, a version that carries authority, wisdom, and provision. And every time you consider settling that future version, pulls you back into alignment. That's why average feels painful. That's why small thinking feels heavy. That's why you cannot pretend to be satisfied with just enough, because just enough was never your portion. Overflow was. You were designed to operate with margin, to give margin to invest, margin to build. And the fire inside you exists to make sure you don't forget that. Ambition, when placed by God, is not dangerous. It is directional. It points you toward where you are supposed to go, not where you are comfortable staying. So, if you've ever wondered why you can't silence that inner drive, why peace never comes from settling, why your soul keeps demanding more, now you know you are not restless because you are dissatisfied with life. You are restless because life is asking more of you, and that fire will not go out until you step fully into who you were created to become. If this part of the message feels uncomfortably accurate, take a moment. Let yourself acknowledge it. And if this fire resonates with your spirit, type 111 in the comments as confirmation. In the next part, we will uncover something powerful. Why opportunities seem to find you when others feel stuck, and how divine alignment begins to activate when you stop trying to fit in. Stay with me. This journey is unfolding exactly as it should. Chosen one. Have you ever noticed that doors seem to open for you in moments when others feel completely blocked? Even when you are struggling, even when you don't have everything figured out, even when your resources are limited, opportunities still appear, not loudly, not dramatically, but subtly, almost quietly, a conversation at the right time, a connection that feels unexpected, an idea that drops into your spirit out of nowhere. And while others might call it luck, you know, deep down, it's something more. It's alignment. Chosen ones carry a different frequency. And when you are aligned with purpose, life begins to rearrange itself around you. This does not mean your path has been easy. It means your path has been guided. You've probably experienced moments where you were one decision away from missing an opportunity, one choice away from staying stuck. But something nudged you forward. You didn't always understand why you said yes. You didn't always see the full picture, but you followed the pull. That pull was not impulse. It was intuition sharpened by purpose. While others only see obstacles, your spirit recognizes openings. You see potential where others see problems. You see value where others see risk. You see growth where others see fear. This ability is not random. Wealth does not begin with money. It begins with vision. And vision is the ability to see what does not yet exist. That's why you often recognize opportunities others overlook. Your eyes are trained differently. Your mind is positioned differently. You are not just reacting to life. You are responding to signals. This is why you may feel frustrated when people around you complain about having no chances, because you can see chances everywhere. Not because you are naive, but because you are attentive. You understand that opportunity rarely announces itself clearly. It whispers, and only those who are aligned can hear it. This is also why your journey has included unusual timing. Things didn't always happen when you wanted them to, but they often happened when you needed them. A door opened just before you gave up. Help arrived just before collapse. Clarity came just before confusion took over. That timing is not coincidence. It is divine orchestration. God does not rush alignment. He perfects it. And sometimes He delays outcomes not to deny you, but to position you correctly. Because opportunities given too early can destroy you, and opportunities given too late lose their impact. So He waits, He watches, He prepares, and when the timing is right, alignment activates. This is why opportunities don't just appear for you. They follow you, not because you are special in ego, but because you are faithful in purpose. You have likely noticed that when you step into environments that align with your calling, things flow easier. Ideas make sense, connections feel natural, momentum builds. But when you try to force yourself into places that don't match your assignment, everything feels heavy. That heaviness is guidance. Chosen ones are not meant to chase everything. They are meant to recognize what is theirs. And the more you trust alignment, the clearer your path becomes. This is also why you are often presented with opportunities disguised as challenges, situations that stretch you, roles that demand more of you, moments that feel uncomfortable but necessary. These are not distractions. They are doorways, because alignment doesn't always look easy. Sometimes it looks like responsibility. Sometimes it looks like pressure. Sometimes it looks like stepping forward when fear tells you to stay back. But on the other side of alignment is expansion. You are being prepared not just to receive opportunity, but to handle it. Because favor without discipline becomes waste, and opportunity without wisdom becomes loss. That is why your preparation has been ongoing. Every lesson, every setback, every redirection, all of it has been refining your ability to see clearly. So when the right opportunity appears, you won't hesitate, you won't panic, you won't misuse it. You will recognize it. And that recognition is what separates you. Others miss opportunities because they are focused on survival. You see opportunities because you are focused on purpose. And as you continue to align, doors will open more consistently. Not because life becomes perfect, but because your positioning becomes precise. If you've ever wondered why your life feels guided, even when it feels uncertain, this is why. Alignment does not remove uncertainty. It removes confusion. You may not always know the outcome, but you know the direction. And direction is enough. If this part of the message resonates with you, pause for a moment. Acknowledge the moments where timing protected you, where alignment saved you from paths that looked good but weren't right. And if you recognize this pattern in your life, type 111 in the comments as confirmation. In the next and final part, we will uncover the strongest confirmation of all. Why others depend on you. Why your family looks to you for answers, and why this pressure is proof that you are the carrier of generational breakthrough. Stay with me. You are closer than you realize. Chosen one. There is one final sign that confirms everything you've heard so far. It's not subtle, it's not symbolic, and it's impossible to ignore. Others depend on you, even now, even before you feel ready, even before you feel fully equipped, even when you are still figuring things out yourself. Your family looks to you. When there is confusion, they come to you. When there is crisis, they call you. When there is pressure, expectation lands on your shoulders. And sometimes you wonder why. Why you? Why does responsibility keep finding you? Why does it feel like you are carrying more than your share? Here is the truth most people never realize. People do not depend on you by accident. They depend on you because spiritually they recognize something in you, even if they can't explain it, even if they've never said it out loud. They sense that you are different. They sense that you carry strength when others panic, clarity when others are confused, vision when others are stuck. That is not coincidence, that is confirmation. Chosen ones are often placed in families not to blend in, but to become pillars. You are not just expected to provide financially. You are expected to lead, to stabilize, to guide. And that weight can feel heavy. You may feel pressure to succeed, not just for yourself, but for everyone connected to you. You may feel guilt at the idea of failure because you know it affects more than just you. But listen carefully. That pressure is not meant to crush you. It is meant to reveal your capacity. God does not allow others to lean on people who cannot carry weight. He positions weight where there is strength, and you have more strength than you realize. Think about how often you've had to be the strong one, the one who holds things together, the one who finds solutions when others feel helpless. Even when you were struggling inside, you still showed up. Even when you felt uncertain, you still carried others. That endurance is not normal. It is anointing, because wealth at its highest level is not just money. It is responsibility. It is the ability to create safety, the ability to remove pressure, the ability to say, "I've got this" when others are overwhelmed. And that is what you are being trained for. Right now, people may depend on you emotionally. They may depend on you for advice. They may depend on you to make sense of chaos. But there is coming a time when they will depend on you financially, not out of desperation, but out of trust. You are being prepared to become the one who changes the tone of your family's future. The one who says, "We don't struggle like that anymore. We don't panic about money anymore. We don't live in fear anymore." That level of provision requires more than income. It requires character wisdom and discipline. And that is why your journey has been intense. You were not rushed into wealth. You were trained for it, because God knew that if He entrusted you with abundance too early without preparation, it could break you. So He built you first. He allowed responsibility to sharpen you, pressure to mature you, dependence to strengthen you. You are not behind, you are becoming. And when the wealth you are called to carry finally manifests, it won't overwhelm you. You will recognize it. You will steward it. You will use it with purpose. And when that happens, everything changes. Your family will no longer look to you with desperation. They will look to you with gratitude. The weight you carry now will transform into stability later. The pressure you feel now will become freedom later. Because you are not just building wealth, you are building a foundation that ensures your children won't inherit fear. A foundation that ensures future generations won't inherit survival mentality. A foundation that replaces anxiety with abundance. And that is why you were chosen. Not because you were perfect, not because you were fearless, but because you were willing to carry more, willing to grow, willing to rise when it would have been easier to settle. So if you've ever felt overwhelmed by how much others expect from you, hear this clearly. That expectation is evidence of your calling. You are not alone in this, and you are not imagining it. Your life is not ordinary. Your journey is not random. Your future is not uncertain. It has already been written. You are chosen to carry wealth with wisdom, abundance with humility, and success with responsibility. And now, before this message ends, I want to hear from you. If this message reached you at the exact moment you needed it, type 111 in the comments right now as a declaration of alignment and confirmation. And if you recognize yourself in these signs, if you feel this calling stirring in your spirit, leave a comment saying, "I accept my assignment." Your words matter. Your declaration matters. And make sure you subscribe to this channel, because this is not just a video. This is a journey into wealth, purpose, and generational transformation. Stay aligned, stay disciplined, and never forget who you are. You are the chosen one, and your time is now.